second group, we will present the material about popular mythology with my lecturer, Putu Santi Oktorina. Before I started, I will introduce the group member first. Here, me, Igu Saidi Pranyani, and my friend, Nikada Dwi Darmayani, Wina Andini, and also Nimade Vidya Bhavani Chidananda. Here we have a quote that say, if you are wait until you are ready for your lesson, you will spend your whole life just waiting by someone famous. Okay, next, here we have a mind maps consists of the first one is meaning of mythology, second one is relationship mythology, the third one is bargain in mythology, and the last one is making choice in mythology. So the first point about the meaning of mythology will be bring by myself. The first point about meaning of mythology. Mythology is the study of research method, or more formally a contextual framework for a research, a coherent and logical scheme based on views, beliefs, and facts that guides the choice research make. It comprises the theoretical analysis of the body of method and principles associated with a branch of knowledge, such that the methodologies employed from differing disciplines vary depending on their historical development. This creates a continuum of methodologies that stretch across accompanying understanding of how knowledge and reality are best understood. This situation, methodologies within overarching philosophies and approaches. Methodology might be visualized as a spectrum from predominantly quantitative approach toward a predominantly qualitative approach. Although methodology might conventionally sit specifically within of the these approaches, research might blend approaches in answering their research objective and so have methodologies that are multi-method and interdisciplinary. Overall, a methodology does not set out to provide solution. It is therefore not same as method. Instead, a methodology offers a theoretical perspective for understanding which method, set of methods, or best practice can be applied to the research question at hand. The second point about the relationship methodology with educational and social culture. Cultural studies examines how the public policy and social norms impact the everyday living of a particular cultural group. It studies how symbols or signs of dominance are leveraged to communicate placement in the society. Cultural methodologies illustrate the distinctness and coherence of the cultural study as a site of interaction between the humanities and the social science. Topics covered include the relationship between critical theory and cultural studies, and then the pragmatic of the cultural research and education, and then ethical question and research purposes, and then the role of feminists in the cultural studies, the use of autobiography, the analysis of city cultures, and then textual analysis and ethnographic procedure, and then construction of the identity in relation to race, sexuality, and nationhood, the use of qualitative and quantitative data. And some of the main issues involved in generating research findings for thesis or other publication. Next material will be brought by my friends.
Alright, I am Kadidu Darmayani. This video presentation, I will continue the next material about the relationship mythology with education and social culture. A culture studies examine how public policy and social norms impact the daily life of certain culture groups. It studies how a symbol or signs of dominance are used to accommodate private and roles in society. Culture mythology describes the decisiveness and coherence of the study of culture as state of interaction between the human and the social science. This book is read for students who are starting or wishing to the research in the field of culture studies. This emphasizes the need to consider and plan very carefully the relationship and principle in research while avoiding methodology waste time. Methods are simply before it or tools used to select and research equipment. Methodology is the analysis of all methods and procedure of investigation. It is a systematic strategy for finding solutions to research problems. Methods include a conditioning experience, conducting a survey and test. When teachers from one culture, UK, US, and Australia, its students from the other Cambodia. It is often easy to see where culture and additional differently. However, as we have suggested, it is the methodological culture that matters here, not the teacher background. All I saying here is that mentally applying and particular methodology to each and every learning connects with a culture might not always be improved. However, what we need to ask ourselves is how to decide what is appropriate and how to apply methodological beliefs that with or teach appartens. Alright, in the next slide, I'm talking about the topic conflict and methodology. A topic conflict include the relationship between critical theory and culture studies, the practice of culture research and education, ethical question and research focus, the role of feminism in culture studies, the use of autobiography, the analysis of city cultures, textual analysis and ethnographic producers, contraction of identity in relation to race, sexuality, and nationhood, the use of qualitative and quantitative data, and some of the main issues involved in generating research findings for tests or other publications. Alright, the next material continued by Wina. Wina, time is yours.
Well, my name is Wina Andini. Thank you for the time given to me. I will continue the material about the virgins, pause, method, and context sensitivity in methodology. In listening where they need the skill of listening for gist and not every word, and where they wanted to listen time and time again, we gradually wanted them away from this by initially allowing them to listen as often as they like, but in return, and this was the part of the virgin, they were to concentrate on the gist and answer quick questions. This quick question moved them away from a sentence-by-sentence analysis toward inferential interpretation of the text. Then we gradually reduced the number of times they were allowed to listen. The same toward it was a system which they were happy and which enabled them to see real improvements in their listening skill. Third solution was to make a virgin so that two essentially opposing methodological beliefs could be accommodated together as a result of negotiation between teacher and student. A more radical suggestion is that we have reached a post-method phase. Look at this way: taking a method into class, or say text-based learning, is actually limiting science. It gets in the way of teacher and student learning how to learn together. What is need, Kumara Vadivelu suggests, is no alternative method, but an alternative to method. Instead of one method, he suggests the macro strategies such as maxims, learn opportunities, facilitate negotiation, foster language awareness, promote learning autonomy. Of course, these aims represent a kind of methodological wish list, and while not confined to a one-size-fits-all restrictive methodology, nevertheless make methodological assumptions which might, without reflection and negotiation, be as inappropriate as some the practice Pablo Tedro Howlett. Dick Ulrich is also concerned to get away from method as the central focus of decision about teaching. For him, the quality of life in any classroom is much more important than instructional efficiency. In what he calls exploratory practice, teachers should determine and understand the classroom quality of life. Then they should identify learning puzzle or find something that is puzzling in class. Why certain things happen or don't happen when teaching students. Reflect on it. Gather data and try out different ways of solving the puzzle. Reflecting at each step on what happens in order to devise what to do next. Stephen Beggs has similar concern about the imposition of a method without taking the context where the learning is happening into account. He points out that methodology is just one factor in language learning. Other factors may be important, and other methods and approaches may be qualified. His solution is for teachers to do some kind of context analysis before they start teaching so that they can develop their own procedure from the range of methodological knowledge and technique they have available to them. They then reflect on the evaluate and has happened in order to decide how to proceed. Okay, the next material about making choice in methodology will be continued by Vidya Bawani.
Hi, my name is Vidya. For the last point, we will talk about making choices in methodology. We should be able to say, as Comrade will try, what is important in methodological terms, especially if we recognize that the choice of just one method may not be appropriate in many situations. We should be able to extract the key components from the various methods we have described. What do students need, and what should we offer them? Now, I will tell you about the 6 trends that have emerged from our discussion in this paper. Include: the first is affect. Students learn better when they are engaged with what is happening with their feeling, and attitudes matter both in relation to their encounters with the language itself and also in terms of the learning experience in general. The second is input. Students need constant exposure to the language, otherwise they will not learn how to use it. The input they receive may be in the form of reading or in the way the teacher talks to them. comprehensible, input is not enough in itself unless there is some language study or some opportunity for noticing or consciousness raising to help students remember specific language. Focus on form, and especially at lower levels, a language form is a vital component of successful language learning. The third is about output. Students need chance to activate their language knowledge through the meaning-focused tasks. This activation is very effective when they try to deploy all or any of the language they know, either to produce language or to read or listen for the meaning. For the fourth is cognitive effort. Students should be encouraged to think about language as they work with its sense. We are sure and this aids retention. Where appropriate, we should encourage students to do some of the work for themselves, discovering how language works rather than being given information about language construction on a plate. And the fifth, grammar and lexis. Lexis is as important as grammar, showing how words combine together and behave both semantically and grammatically is an important part of any language learning program. And for the last, how, why, and where the actual way we do things depends not on the choice of method, but rather on why and where we are teaching and what do we want to achieve, with whom, and in what context. We need to analyze these features and then choose from the procedures and techniques used at our command those that best fit the situation we are in. That's all our material about popular methodology. We hope you understand, and if we have any mistakes, we are sorry, and we close it with Paramasanti. Om Santi 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 Om. Thank you.